Capitalism is hitting the high seas and Christianity is on the rise. I reckon those two stories have something to do with each other. I'm Jess Chandler, the co-host of the I Reckon podcast. This is our second episode of our pre-launch miniseries where I just shoot little tiny episodes so I can figure out how to do a podcast. And today, what I'm going to try and figure out with this episode is how to integrate clips into the podcast so we can pull up funny things that we've seen on the internet. If you hear screaming in the background, I just want everybody to know my baby's fine. He just does that sometimes. We got to figure out how to integrate clips because that makes everything so much more fun when I can bring stuff from the internet and show my dad. So I'm going to figure out how to do that today. And you might be thinking, can't you just do all this and not release it? Like, do you have to subject us all to you figuring out how to do a podcast? And yes, I do have to subject you to it. Because if I didn't release it, I wouldn't have any sort of accountability and I wouldn't learn how to do any of this. So that's the reason behind me dragging us all through this. If I got to go through it, so do you. So in the world today, I was looking for some news stories. I didn't want to do something that, everybody's already talking about, the crypto crash, the nuclear deal with the Department of Defense, the Hamas hostages, all of this stuff. We've all heard about it a million times. I found some more obscure stories that caught my attention. The first one is these boats with giant jumbotrons for ads hitting the high seas at a local beach near you. So we're going to watch this first clip together. Okay, for those of you not watching the video, that audio is so loud. So for those of you that were not watching the video, what it is a huge barge with a gigantic jumbotron, and it's two-sided. So it's not just even it's a huge barge with this big ad for Wawa on it. And the barge is sailing back and forth. And this is like a jumbotron screen. This isn't like a billboard or a giant poster. This is a massive screen. And I hate it. It immediately pissed me off. And I was like, okay, why? When I have a visceral reaction to something, I want to know why. So I thought about it. Imagine, we don't go on vacation often, but we'll take a trip to the mountains. Luckily, we live in North Carolina. The beach is close by. But you pay a month's salary, half a month of salary to go down to Florida to enjoy the beach. The sun's so bright that you can't see your phone. So you're forced to just hang out with your book and your music, maybe listen to the waves, watch your kids play in the sand. And you look out onto the horizon and you see this barge with a gas station ad. It's a little on the nose for a gas station ad to be running on a barge along the ocean. It was just a little, I would be pissed. If I was paying all that money to drag my kids down to the beach and all this stuff, I would be so upset if that was what I saw. But then I got to thinking, they had those, when I was a kid, I lived in Florida. I was at the beach. And they've got the planes flying back and forth with the tail at the end. And on that would be sometimes a marriage proposal. Sally, will you marry me? Peter. Something really cute. Or an ad, a phone number for a local surf shop. Rent boogie boards around the corner, take a left. You know what I mean? I never had a problem with that. And I still don't have a problem with that. I have a huge problem with the jumbotron on a barge. They're not the same thing. I think we can all agree. They're not the same thing. The little prop plane with the streamer, number one, it's not a screen. It's just like a streamer, a fabric thing. Especially if it's pointing to a local business, it just adds to the aesthetic. It just adds to the vibes. They're trying to further my experience at the beach by telling me where I can get boogie boards, 3 for $20 for the full day. I appreciate that. That is helpful information for me. What I don't appreciate is Wawa advertising a $3 bullshit ass latte at the beach. That's not acceptable. Can we all agree? Can we all agree that that's not acceptable? Like, you want me to pack my kids up, okay? Johnny, I'm just going to kick his sandcastle over, grab him up, not even put my flip-flops back on, walk across the boiling hot sand, back to my car. I'm going to throw him in. I'm not even strapping him in. I'm heading straight to my nearest fucking Wawa to get a latte in the summertime at the beach. Read the room. Read the room. When my car needs a little bit of gas, I'll fucking find you. You know what I mean? I don't want a gas station ad in the ocean is crazy. But whatever. What do we do about this? And the only way to beat this BlackRock, State Street style capitalism is with more capitalism. The answer to the problems of capitalism, personally, I don't think is anything other than more capitalism. And here's what I mean by that. I mean, I will now make it one of my many missions in life. I will go out of my way to ensure Wawa never gets a shred of my business. That's the only thing we can do. If they advertise where it's not appropriate, there's appropriate places for ads. Like I said, the streamer for the surf shop, helpful. Wawa latte, I'd rather die. I would rather die. On the ocean on a barge is insane. It's just so crazy. So we all just have to boycott Wawa and any other mega corporation, because those are the only people that can afford a double-sided Jumbotron on a barge. We have to boycott these businesses. We have to. It's like the marketing team for Cracker Barrel picked up and they just went to the next spot. Like, all together, they just left. They went from like Bud Light to Cracker Barrel. They did like a little stint at Target, Cracker Barrel, and now they're like barge Jumbotrons. Run it up. Where are these people getting their MBAs from? Somebody please tell me. Because, I mean, they got to be handing them out at this point, right? It's preposterous. So yeah, we're not going to give them business. If I see your ad on a barge in the middle of the ocean while me and my kids are at the beach, you'll never get another dollar from me. And I think that's the position that we all have to take at the end of the day. Like, there's no other way to combat that. No amount of regulation, you know what I mean, you can only answer that with taking your dollars away. But in response to this late stage AI driven subjugation, I think in response, we got a little bit of good news. Christianity is on the rise in a big way. So this is our second clip. We'll watch this together. And this time I'm going to try not to blow my eardrums out. Here we go.
A Christian revival across the country. Bible sales increasing over 40% since 2022. Religion app downloads surging nearly 80%. That increase since 2019. And Christian music Spotify streams up 50% from 2019.
So I think everybody could hear that. This is just if you're not watching the screen, it's a Fox and Friends segment. So Bible sales are up almost 42%. Religion, spirituality app downloads like Hallow, all these, there's a million of them, up like 80%, which is nuts. And I think that we should probably be very careful of, and I'll talk about it in a second. And then Christian music Spotify streams up 50% again. I would be cautious of this. But, wherever you can get you some Jesus, I am in full support of it. I love to spread the good news of Jesus Christ. I'm happy to do it. My husband and I are in the process of OCIA, which is basically the conversion process into the Catholic Church. We've been going to Mass since Easter was the first time we went to Mass together as a family. And it's been completely life-changing. It is an absolute game changer. What I will say is Jesus on the good news of Jesus Christ over an app versus no Jesus in your life at all. We all know that the app is better than nothing, right? I will say, like, Jesus left us a church. He didn't leave us the Bible. That came about later. He didn't leave us an app, and he didn't leave us with contemporary Christian music. So for that reason, I will encourage anybody to just make your way down to Mass this Sunday. They actually got them running every day. If you're only available on Wednesday, they do a Mass that day too, and you can get yourself down there. But no, I would encourage everybody to go to church. That's what Jesus left behind. That is where, you go to, especially Catholic Mass. I mean, Jesus Christ is there. You can feel the Holy Spirit as soon as you go in. Like, the Eucharist is real. I believe in it wholeheartedly. And it's beautiful, and it's really, really great. The reason why I'm cautioning against like the apps and the music is just like you would discern very carefully where you would go to church. You wouldn't just like roll up anywhere. You'd want to know, like, what's the pastor about? Maybe you go try it out, meet some of the people, get a recommendation from a friend. But we're all very selective when it comes to the church that we go to. We should be equally as selective about the apps that we use to kind of like study the Bible. We should be careful about the types of Bibles that we buy. Like, you should discern what the translation is, how many books are in it. That was one of the classes that we had recently in OCIA, was like how to find a Bible and like what are the criteria you should be looking for. What's a study Bible versus, a Bible that just allows you to like reflect in these beautiful passages. Those are two different things. And again, the apps and the music, we all know that these things are corruptible. So I would just recommend picking up and going to Mass, because that, what you're getting. It's not, you're not going to be surprised, and you're not going to be corrupted by like maybe some nefarious actors adding stuff in there that, Jesus didn't really say. That's all I'm saying. The way we discern what church we go to, we should also be just as discerning about apps or music or any of that stuff. Because, I believe in spiritual warfare. I believe the devil will try and find his way in. I believe that there are demons among us. I think you gotta be a soldier for Christ. You gotta be on offense. You gotta make sure that like what you're getting is good. And it doesn't have to be the first thing you turn to, doesn't have to be the perfect thing. The first Bible app that I used, I don't use anymore. But the important thing was it got me closer to Jesus Christ, and that is good enough. But then you continue to discern, and you continue to find your way. And, eventually you'll probably find your way to the Catholic Church if you're like me and my husband. But yeah, so did want to take the time to say, although we have jumbotrons on barges in the middle of the beach, they cannot, they can't overshadow the good news of Jesus Christ. That's it. And the more they dig us into this globalist gig economy, rent everything, own nothing, subscription based until you die lifestyle, the more they try to shove everybody into that bag, I think the more people will come to find Christ. Because when times get tough, I think that's who we all turn to for good reason, because he's the truth. And so with that, Christ is King. I'm out of here. See you guys later.